donate button.
Mary had a little man.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Nobody has ever done what we've done in the last 4 years.
Their entire economic plan, tax cuts for the rich and corporations.
And record-breaking unemployment.
The worst jobs report on record.
Trump is the only modern president to leave office with fewer jobs than when he took office.
The Trump administration formally asking the Supreme Court to overturn the Affordable Care Act. This could leave up to 23 million Americans without coverage.
I hope that they end. It'll be so good if they end.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
And if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons.
Biden put that up last night while Donald Trump was draping himself in 33 flags and 19 chandeliers in the ballroom of Magaloco, where Donald Trump decided that he was going to announce his candidacy.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Great and glorious. Glorious, everybody. Glorious is, he couldn't make America great and glorious again because he can't even manage to make himself a cup of coffee. I mean, the man was bored with his own speech. He was literally bored crapless with his own damn speech last night, but he kept on going. He persevered, which is the sign of true leadership, isn't it? Oh, it's just this launch was more doomed than the SS Minnow. I swear to God, this was just such a shipwreck. It was just so bad. The lying was, listen, fact check, please. Just waiter, I need a check, please. Fact check. It was so full of garbage. It was so full of lies. It was so delusional that only one man could be responsible for delivering the speech, okay? I mean, he literally said, swear to God, did you see it? Did anybody watch it? I don't know who watched it or not. I could tell you if you watch Fox News, you didn't see the whole thing because Fox News cut away from it. Sean Hannity cut away from it in his 8 o'clock hour. And then Lala Ingraham, she came in, she started it again, and then she said, okay, we're cutting away. I mean, that's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. Now, I don't know if that's, information that comes from on high, if they have meetings over there where they say, Rupert really hates Trump. And you will not, because did you see Rupert Murdoch's New York Post today? I mean, it's an amazing thing. It had like a whole front page of, some crazy, horrible crime that happened in New York. And then at the very, very bottom of the front page, I mean, right at the bottom, it said, swear to God, you got to hand it to the New York Post. They are the best headline writers in the history of headline writers. But at the bottom of the page, it said, Florida man makes announcement, page 26. Swear to God. That's what it said. So I don't know if Fox has marching orders to march away from Donald Trump, but I will tell you this, that, like on some of the other shows, they were showing some of the primary contestants, some of the, not yet, never was wannabes, and they were showing Pence, and they were showing, a Cruz, and they were showing Hawley, but like of all the people that they showed, not one of the people was Donald Trump. Because he's an embarrassment, okay? He's a 3-time loser. He is an let me I have to play this for you because this just blew my mind that he actually is this delusional, okay? He actually said that with him as president of the United States of America, that America for decades under him, decades, It just felt like decades. But America under him for decades had seen no wars.
My opponents made me out to be a warmonger and just a terrible person who would immediately go into war. They said during the 2016 campaign that if he becomes president, there will never be a war within weeks, and we will have wars like you've never seen before. It will happen immediately, and yet I've gone decades without a war, the first president to do it for that long a period.
Okay, so you might actually think that he misspoke, but then he actually repeated the lie and said, I'm the first president that ever was able to do it, to go decades and decades without a war. Let's face it, another Trump presidency would be the absolute worst nightmare for this country, but a Trump candidacy would only be a nightmare for the GOP. So, hey, everybody, get ready to have a hilarious time because he is running. I mean, it's so bizarre. It was last night, I tell you, you know what it was like? It was like watching a cat get all tangled up in a ball of yarn, except cats are cute. So maybe it was like one of those rabid cats, okay, a foaming, frothing, rabid warthog, getting itself tangled in a ball of yarn. It was painful. It was bizarre. And how many flags does one man need? 33 flags in a ballroom. 33 flags. There were more flags on that stage than there are on Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery, and I bet you every last one of them was made in China, who, by the way, he blamed for the loss of his election. I swear to God, he's not done. He actually did one of his, many people say, because he went off script, okay? He literally went off the teleprompter for a brief moment.
Many people think that because of this, China played a very active role in the 2020 election. Just saying. Sure, that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. In the 2020 election, you could tell he went off the teleprompter. I mean, they're trying so hard, the Jason Millers of the world. They're trying so hard to script him, to keep him from being an election denier, because we just had an election and election denial was rejected. And who rejected it? Moderate Republicans and independents and every single Democrat down to a person. Okay. And you cannot win elections without moderate Republicans and independents who got real spooked by the entirety of the Trump presidency and the election denial. They got real spooked that if election deniers were put in charge of elections, we wouldn't have elections anymore. And turns out Americans like elections. They kind of like democracy. They like it. Okay. So they had to have told him, stick to the script, stay on the teleprompter. We're not going down the election denial road. He just couldn't help himself. He just couldn't. And, the way that he started the last time he was successful, let's just say, which is almost 10 years ago now. I mean, it's unbelievable. 2015, right? In 2015, you remember that it was a big to-do. He hired actors. Remember that? He hired people to go to his Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. Some people got actually beaten outside of Trump Tower, and they prevailed in their lawsuits. But anyway, he came down the elevator with Melania in the white dress, the whole thing. And what was his speech about? It was about doom and gloom and drug dealers and murderers and rapists and racism and every imaginable horror that you could invoke for the American people is what he invoked. And then, sort of intimated that he was the guy who would tackle it. He was the only guy who could fix it, which he never did, okay? He lied last night. He said he built a wall, which is hysterical. He didn't build a wall. He fixed some parts of a wall, reinforced other parts of a wall. I mean, it was so bizarre, but he did the same damn thing with the dark. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.